Okay, I should be fine. he's not present, so I think we continue. We go. Yes, there is not Jakub here yet. Should be Boris, I think. He's not here. We'll take him in the end, in the worst case. Hello, everyone. So we are basically starting the second day. Happy to welcome you again in the museum. We have changed the program, as you probably have already discovered, that the first presenter didn't come. The third one is also not present, so we'll follow the situation that we start with the second presenter, then you go straight with the following session, skipping discussion. So we'll have a longer break in this case. I think it would be more easier to follow in this case. Okay, so today's chair is Carlo from University of Siena. Okay, I start the streaming then.
So first the speakers Alicia and Sandra and team who will introduce some news about the Archeologii, which is one of the projects we undertaken in Calabria last year. Please.
Technical issues, so you have to wait a little bit. Yeah, but I need to set it first. Okay, it's working now. How do you want to turn it? How do you want to turn it? I think it's like this.
Yes, okay.
Yes? Okay. Okay.
Perché è scritto in polacco.
No, we need to... Oh, yes.
Wrong technical stuff and no microphone, so I will. Okay, now it should be fine. Okay. And the microphone is working. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Hello to everyone. This following paper presents our work developed in an attempt to reconstruct the ancient archaeological, urban, and rural dimension of the territory of Briatico. Briatico is situated in the south of the province of Vibo Valentia, Calabria, southern Italy, and his morphology is characterized by a series of canyons which became thinner towards the coast, and a convergence of a series of sources like a rich hydrographic network, dense vegetation, and mild climate has produced an extreme fertile settlement basin and an intensive exploitation of the area over a long period. The almost absence of previous literature and the high archaeological potential has constituted the basin for the launch of the first research campaign inaugurated in 2021. And the quality of data collected during the previous research campaign in 2021 and 2022 has provided a good database and allowed us to set up a new and more focused working methodology. doesn't work. Okay. The new working methodology was applied accordingly to reconstruct the rural dimension of the area, focused on the element of a farmhouse, investigated, analyzed through both a topographical and an archaeological, architectural point of view. And at the same time, a deeper investigation was placed on the production plants and historical buildings of the hamlets of Mandaradoni, Potenzoni, and San Costantino, and on their evolution through the analysis of their working masonry and their different technologies, techniques, and material used. And finally, an higher attention was placed on the site of San Leo Vecchio, which emerged during the previous research campaign in 2021, and like many other centers in Calabria, saw a significant moment of caesura in 1783 following the earthquake, which helped to crystallize its original shape over time. So we finally have decided to conduct the investigation through a combination of different methodologies like multiscalar and multidisciplinary approaches in order to bring out the high archaeological potential and to collect as much data as possible.
For this archaeological activity, and the municipality of Przyjaciół, we did the first phase of definition and planning of the work, thanks to the information of previous years and the knowledge of the territory, and thanks to photographs, cartographies, and satellite images. From this data, it was possible to remotely identify areas with potential interest and to planning on-site surveys to verify the hypothesis advanced during the first interpretation. This activity was followed by a second phase of documentation with an photographer on site to identify areas and archaeological evidences like sites or settlements, historic buildings, particularly farmhouses, and the structures of the urban site of San Leo Vecchio. At the same time, we found archaeological materials on the surface, especially ceramic, that were very useful to have chronological references in absence of written sources. The devices used during this activity on site were GPS and the Android profile application that were useful to reach points visible on the map and to verify the real historic interest about structures to be documented. The documentation was carried out by observing the conservation and the state of use of buildings and by observing the landscape where they were located, also considering the masonry work and the oral witness interview. These information, data, and materials we collected were interpreted, and we observed that farmhouses are conspicuously distributed over the territory in relation to settlements, roads, hydrography, and morphology. However, the activity on site and the remote activity of photo interpretation was not always proven effective. For example, the site of San Leo Vecchio, as you can see, suffers of an invasive vegetation that covers all the site and the structures, the preserved structures that are inside, hidden their visibility. So for this reason, we did a series of aerial photographs with drone to elaborate a 3D digital model with high definition that was useful to find and to individuate structures that were not visible another way.
Systematic survey based on the careful air photo interpretation activity has allowed us to identify a great number of topographical units and a dense presence of farmhouses which added to the buildings identified in the previous research campaign led to 88 buildings surveyed. And the presence of farmhouses is widespread all over the territory of Briatico, but there is an higher concentration near the hamlets of Potenzoni, Mandaradoni, San Costantino, San Leo, and near the Sant'Irene locality, highlighting a general tendency to prefer the coastal area and the area on the plateaus. The farmhouses are widespread near secondary roads like segments of interfarm roads and are mainly within plowed fields and olive groves. There was also recorded a gradual, general progressive slidement of settlements toward the coast following the earthquakes of 1783 and 1905, particularly evident in the locality of the new centers of San Leo, San Costantino, and Briatico compared to the previous homonymous sites, and resulting in a less urbanization of the inland areas. This map, this layout, shows the distribution of the farmhouses over the area of Briatico. In red one, the farmhouses surveyed in a previous research campaign, and in yellow one, the farmhouse recognized during the last research campaign, widespread near the hamlets just mentioned. From the farmhouses analysis, it was possible to recognize a common technological knowledge characterized by a limited economic expenditure and an easy access to raw materials. In particular, the masonry works is characterized by the juxtaposition of granitic and calcareous and limestone, bound by rock and sandy mortar, and often not blanked. And it was also recorded widespread presence of bricks and tiles. From the analysis of historical buildings, it was possible to divide the walls into typological classes on the basis of the different masonry works, techniques, and the material used. And it was also possible recorded a good fair analogy between different masonry works in different parts of the area, suggesting a contemporaneity between the buildings and highlighting the possibility to find the construction phase. These units were placed within a period between 19th and 21st centuries, thanks also to the support of the oral phones. This slide shows the most common techniques found in the hamlets of Briatico, Potenzoni, Mandaradoni, and San Costantino, like small limestone and granitic stones bound by mortar, often not blanked, and placed on horizontal rows, perfectly square limestone blocks alternating with regular and horizontal bricks courses, and the wide use of bricks on horizontal courses alternating with small, medium-sized granitic stones with irregular shape. Systematic surveys in the fields near the farmhouses led to the discovery of a significant number of findings like ceramic, metal, and glass fragments, and it was possible to identify, to place these findings in a period between the medieval phase with a lower hand in the 12th century and the contemporary phase, highlighting a nearly terminus post-quem and hypothesized during the previous research campaign. And in total were discovered 15 sites identified with the area of higher dispersion of artifacts. Different types of surveys like GPS, centimeter, and the field and drone surveys led to the decisive acquiring of data, and were helpful to create a relief of the site as completed and detailed as possible. And despite the dense, the invasive vegetation in which the ruins lie, it was possible to geolocate the site, to definite its limits, and identify new structures and their distribution highlighted in the three-dimensional model. The convergence of the new data acquired into GIS projects of work has highlighted the presence of a higher number of structures than previously hypothesized.
The study of the territory showed a high density of farmhouses in open cultivated areas, which indicate an intense agricultural activity during a very long time. The farmhouses have a recurring rectangular planimetal layout, constructed using local materials and workers, and this suggested that the economic system was based on local resources, which persist until the post-medieval era. In some cases, modification have been made with the original plan over time, with the addition of smaller and visibly more recent buildings surrounding the older central nucleus. Their presence could suggest and confirms this agricultural activity hypothesized and could indicate a change of agricultural cultivation strategies and machinery used. This could indicate also that the need to expand the available space, so the previous space was no longer sufficient, and these next structures were built using concrete blocks and sheet metal, which represented the notable departure from traditional methods and indicated the emergence of new materials, technologies, and knowledge. Sometimes the reconstructions may not involve the replication of the pre-existing necessary work of buildings. For example, if a part of the structures has collapsed, the architectural gap has been built with a different building technique, using not a layer of mortar, sandy mortar anymore, but by using cement. These different ways, stratified over time, provide an important testimony of the continuity of use of the buildings. As some farmhouses are currently in a state of abandonment, these data are essential to understand that the production activity in some areas continued until a few decades ago. And the number of farmhouses in the territory of Przyjaciół, also considering the abandonment of some of them, is important to reflect how the population density and exploitation of the territory have changed from the past to the present. And also archaeological materials, especially ceramics, could indicate that the territory has been inhabited and used for agricultural activity and agricultural exploitation since medieval ages. But there are still open questions about the beginning of our housing system and the development of an habitat center that have very uncertain points. Thank you so much.
Okay, so please any present here? No. So
we continue.
We continue with Sarah, who is going to speak about the taste of the part of postdoc project she's running at this university. So very happy to do this. It's looking at.
I need to set up the technological things, sorry. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay, please. You have it. Okay.
So, good morning, everyone. I'm Chiara Mascarello, and yeah, as Carlos said, I'm working for the University of Turin as a researcher, but now for this conference I'm here as independent researcher because this is a part project from my work, actual work. So this is about the grazing of the abbeys, as you can see in the title, and is I try to reconstruct some transhumance tract from the monastery, for some monasteries, and their valley, and their grazings, their pastoral areas in this area that is characterized by the presence of the Valdensias valleys. What are Valdensias valleys? I don't know if you know this area is in the northwestern Italy, in the region of Piedmont. And the Valdensias valleys are three valleys: the Chisone, the Germanasca, and the Pellice valleys. We include also the Lemina valleys, that is a bordered valley. And they are known as Valdensias valleys because they are the core of the Valdensias religious movement in Italy. I don't know if you know the Valdensias movement. It is a religious movement born in 12th century, founded by Peter Valdo as a Protestant movement. And in the 16th century adopted the Calvinist theology and became one of the branch of the Calvinist and Evangelist Church in Italy. My research, the research I present you, is part of a biggest project that is located in this area and whose scope is to understand, study, and reconstruct the viability in this area, in the Valdensias valleys, in a long time perspective, from a very long time perspective, because it's from the prehistory, about the Neolithic period, to the 20th century. So it includes a lot of researchers that study diverse periods. Why the decision to concentrate on monasteries? Because in this area we have a problem. We have a very big lack of archaeological research. So we don't have a lot of archaeological information, maybe nothing. But we have a lot of historical research. We know a lot from written documents and so on about the history of these places. And for the medieval period, we have a lot of information from the documents elaborated and conserved by monasteries. In particular, in this area, I select 5 monasteries because all of these 5 monasteries have some influences in the Valdensias Valley in different periods. I concentrate in particular on medieval period from the 8th to the 14th century. For the first part, so from the 8th to the 11th century maybe, we have only one monastery that act in this area. The Abbey of St. Peter and Andrew of Novalesa, founded in 739, and this, as you can see, I don't know if the okay. This is the first one, Abbey monastery, and is located a bit far from the valleys, our valleys. It's located in a lateral branch of the Val di Susa, that is this one, and we know from some documents of this abbeys that they have some properties here in this area, the violet area. And so for the century between the 8th and the 9th century, it acted in this area in Lemina Valley and in Chisone Valley on the border. In the 11th century, we saw the foundation of two other monasteries, more in the Piedmont of these valleys. The Santa Maria of Cavour Monastery and the Santa Maria of Pinerolo Monastery. Cavour was founded in 1037 by the Bishop of Turin, Landolfo, and Pinerolo was founded in 1064 by the Marquis of Turin, Adelaide. Why two monasteries founded in the same period in the same area? Because you can understand it by the foundator, because we have the first one, the Cavour, is founded by the bishop to control and to limit the power of the Marquis of Turin, while the monastery of Pinerolo was founded by the Marquis of Turin to control and to contrast the expansion of the power of the Bishop of Turin. So they are in contrast, and we immediately understand who won, because, as you can see, the influence area of the monastery of Cavour is this one in red, is the red one, while the area of Pinerolo is the yellow one, so very bigger than the other. And we also know that when the monastery of Pinerolo was founded, its properties also include the properties of the monastery of Cavour. So Cavour disappeared from the valleys. The other two monasteries was founded in the 12th century, in the first part of the 12th century, both by the Marquis of Saluzzo, another important family of the area. The first one is the Abbey of Santa Maria of Staffarda, founded in 1122. That is the only one that have influence and properties in the Pellice Valley here, in the area, grey area. The second one and the last one, the Abbey of Santa Maria of Casanova, was founded in 1142 and is influence area in this part, the orange one, that is the Germanasca Valley. So I do a lot of documentary research to understand the history of the area, to understand and better know the area and their monasteries and their grazing and so on. And then I start with my elaboration. So I try to recreate the tracks that linked abbeys with their grazings. I used a GIS software, and I mapped some elements, some characteristics of the landscape that could be used, that could influence the human movement in this area. So I decided to select the slope, obviously, the morphology. I elaborate a TPI, so a topographic position index, to describe the morphology of the area, and I draw the hydrography. These are the natural variables, the natural characteristic I consider. And then I consider an anthropic characteristic, that are the settlement and the changes of settlement along the centuries. With these variables, I create the coast surfaces that are the base on which to elaborate the tracks. And as you see, I define two types of coast surfaces. So natural coast surface and anthropic coast surface. Why? Because the name speaks. So natural coast surface are created by adding each natural characteristic I consider. The anthropic cost surface is the sum of the natural characteristic with the add of settlements. And then I create the tracks using the algorithm of least cost path. And I create the networks from an abbey to its grazings. Why the least cost path? Well, I think this is the best. This could be the best algorithm for this in this case, because we know the starting point and the arriving point. So and so it's the best, I think, in this case. I also try with other solution, but the best results was done by this method. And I also compare the elaboration, the networks elaborated on natural cost surface and on anthropic cost surface. But I see that I saw that there's no big differences. So I decided to consider the elaboration on the natural cost surfaces because I think that I can constate that in this mountainous area, the natural elements, the natural characteristic, the morphology, the slope influence more the human mobility than human variables, so settlements, for example. So these are the results, the different networks from each base to their grazings in the valleys. And I compare my results both with modern, we can say modern viability deduced by the historical maps dated between the 17th and the 18th century, and also with the some of the main contemporary streets, and both in the valleys and in the plan from Casanova to the valleys. And this is the final elaboration. As you can see, we have we have some correspondence between the historical and contemporary viability and my elaboration. Maybe in this area, so in mountainous areas in the valleys, maybe because the corridor of the valleys, the morphology of the valley obliged people to construct routes in this way, and also the elaboration, the algorithm is obliged to pass in this corridor. But an interesting thing is, for example, also this part in the plan part, where we see that one of the track from Casanova to his grazings correspond with a possible modern modern viability, a modern street, but so we can consider that this street could be an ancient, an old tracks maybe. So we can say that some of the contemporary streets could have an origin in medieval period or maybe before. Obviously, this is only the first step of this project, of this research, because another important step is to verify the tracks on the field. So next step, I began to verify it by hiking on the mountain, but it's a very hard work and long work, so I need some time to verify all. And another important scope for this research is to try to individuate some archaeological elements that could deepen our knowledge about these areas, but from an archaeological point of view, not only historical but also archaeological. So I hope that during my hiking I can find some interesting elements, some interesting sites that could testify a medieval presence of human in this area, or also for more ancient periods, or Roman or proto-historical period, because for prehistory we have a lot of sites, known sites. So the whole is between the proto-history and the modern period in these mountains. So thank you for your attention, and this is a little bibliography.
Okay. Okay, yeah, it's coming, so continue on the.
Yeah. Can you thank you.
So now the work of past roads, I cannot pronounce the
This should yeah.
because there are four letters,
Yeah.
four consonants, and
Something like bees, like
for Italian, it's absolutely impossible. But I trust you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, I'm really pleased to be here. I hope that you see well. Yeah, you will have to sit, but I need to start it. Give me a second. So I'm glad to be here, as I thought. Okay. You can continue. You can put it here. So yeah. Even if I'm not from the distant land or distant shore like yesterday's speaker, I managed to fall asleep today and being late. So sorry, very sorry. I'm really happy that I can show you my presentation, my present work about my thesis. The main topic of the thesis is try to reconstruct the old ways, old roads in the Middle Ages in the Bystrzyca and Ślęza River. I take this chronology to separate this subject for two stages, for the early medieval stages like before the 10th century and after the 10th century, to the 12th century, from the 8th, because 8th century in the Lower Silesia is a very important time for the local or not local structures, because they start to build a stronghold on the hill forts, on the hill, and these strongholds were really large, not or less than the stronghold in the lower lands, like in the Greater Poland. But I also found, I will tell about that more later, a little suspicious side about not quite referring to the area if we're talking about the tip of the stronghold. So as you can see, my first month of work I was really hyped up. Before the sleep, I looking for the Google Maps and looking for the fields to look crop marks as I can identify with the roads or
sites like strongholds or something else. As you can see here, I found in the leader some kind of suspicious-looking site that's not written as a early medieval stronghold. There is in my area also road. Here in this part is stronghold. Today it's a bicycle road. I find a lot of curved or straight lines in the crop field, but also Neolithic structure and some also very different, very unusually looking objects in the area. I realized after some time that maybe I was seeing what I wanted to see in this crop marks. So I talked to the archaeologists who researching the area of Neolithic. I was looking for archives for the sites. I was looking for the old map from the German Mestichblatt from the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. And as you can see, some kind of straight lines were field border or roads connecting the fields. Some aren't appear on the historic map in the modern or the oldest. So they can be connected to some kind of road, but we don't know dating of them. The Neolithic structure, oh my god, sorry for, I will put microphone here, it's probably be better. The Neolithic structure was already known for research. This site using the old satellite imagery was a clay pit or sand pit, as you can see. And in the other way, I can show you that the old road in the Mestichblatt, the old map from the 19th century, showed that in the spot where there is a stronghold and today bicycle track, there is some marked of the old road in the 19th century. As yesterday's speaker, I also want to see and feel the way from the river, how they need to walk, how much they can walk. From the beginning of the project, me with my supervision, Alexander Pankiewicz, try to make the road from the source to the mouth of the river. As you can see, this little lake was this lake, this river later. This also let me know that from what point of the river can be used for transport resources. We are looking for a place with great visibility or place where we can cross the river, but also the object who can be used by human in that time, like a watchtower or stronghold. During my research, I found some new archaeological site or alleged archaeological site. The main district is confirmed because we found a few weeks ago ceramic laying in this part of stronghold, dating the site to the 9th to the 10th century. By the ceramic, of course, it's not a defined chronology. The next one is Sadowice Wrocławskie. If you are going the train from Wrocław to the south, you can see this hill, very strangely looking, and if you look at this visual, it's looking like a hill fort, but it's not already confirmed. Also, there is a Stradów near Bystrzyca. This is Bystrzyca Valley. And Mokrzeszów. Mokrzeszów is really interesting site because I was talking to the Christian Krzan, who is tomorrow's speaker. That he is, I can say that person who greatly understands the strongholds from the Loverland, from the border Silesia and Greater Poland, and this structure is not typical for this land. It's almost looking like the Piast strongholds, and we can see that this site is located in some near the Sudetenland. The next site, not correctly connected with my research topic, research chronology, is Gołaszyce. It's a strange looking site because we can see here there is a hill, and this is a part where they could build some building for people. During the excavation, the stones from a local quarry up here. The next one is Bojanice Wawrzyn, is so-called castle who was thing that was legendary because the sources historical confirm that somewhere in the Sudeten there was a second castle very close to the Grodno castle, but they can find it during the 80s, 60s and 90s. Archaeologists try to find this structure in Mount Wawrzyn. They found a little mound, but the fragment few meters in the mountain near Bojanice, there is, as you can see, looking like a castle. There is a road, probably place where the church was mentioned in the legend, and here looking like or fields or maybe a village. Maybe if this can get confirm, maybe tomorrow speaker Konrad will take care of that. So after the research, after the adding new stronghold to the known stronghold, I get a map, but this map doesn't say me anything. We can surely see some kind of lines maybe connected to this stronghold, but nevertheless. Nothing new. So I asked myself, is the stronghold what stopover or destination for the people? During our passage near the Bystrzyca River, we are doing up to 20 to 30 kilometers daily, but the distance from one side to second side is approximately 10 or 13 kilometers. So this could be stopover, but also the stronghold, in my opinion, and not only be stopover. The people can also stopover in the settlement, because if we can take back to time to Chronicles of Poland by Vincent Kandulbek, there is a story about the Prince Popel who doesn't welcome the traveler, and the Piast, who was the grandfather of Mieszko first, welcomed the travel, so Mieszko get a lot of get a lot of help, but Popel was dead and his castle was destroyed by mouses. During my work, during the hill forts, I started working about settlement analysis. So in the 1978, the Polish archaeologists started the project Archeologiczne zdjęcie Polski. This means they were going in the fields of whole Poland and create the map in the scale of 1 to 25 or 1 to 10,000, 1 to 25,000 or 1 to 10,000, and marking all the finds from the settlement, the ceramic or archivized settlement from the archives in Wrocław. So I create a map with the whole, with the middle part of the Bystrzyca River. As you can see, there is a lot of chaos in that because I created this map to compare to these ages. This from my dissertation. So here, this is from the older phases. The red one is the older phase. The purple was unidentified, like the early medieval, just early medieval. So we can see there is some lines we can interpret like the roads connecting one settlement with another. Also here and in this area, but this is area of Ślęza River, and this is from the younger phase of settlements. Also, we can see some lines connecting the settlements. My future plan is checking the archives to get more information about the sites who was already known, but they have no information about they are early or the past medieval. Also, I want to overview the material from the past surveys to check if I can tell if this is younger or older phase, or also try to find out what was the so-called ancient sites with not unidentified ceramic. I also want to conduct excavation surveys on the sites to get more materials, but also as in the case Veronica, the strongholds from this area doesn't have dating, great dating. I can take to my dissertation, so I want to take materials and date them for radiocarbon or something like that. The next step is comparison finds from Bystrzyca and Ślęza River. I want to solve if this region was different or they somehow connected with each other. Song of the future and my dream is palynology studies of this area to make our palynology profiles from the beginning of human in this area, the development of sites and moment when they collapse. The strongholds I want to explore is Nowy Jaworów. Here, as you can see, is in a pre-glacial river. Ice Margel Valley. It's here, and it's interpreted like a place for the early medieval people who try to secure the trace by Płotnica River. It's going here near the site. They doesn't have created dating. Siedlimowice Bystrzak is a new site, and if we can see here in the map, is up here. We can see that this stronghold could have take care and secure the passage here from out of the valley. And the next one is also known mean, the chronology second half of the 8th century to the 10th century, only based by ceramic fragment. And as we can see, it's also stronghold in the hill of the river valley. It's hill, and it's secured the passage probably. And in this area there is also the stronghold, probably stronghold in Buków 3, perfectly in the middle of the river valley. Thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to see you again. This is a big geography.
So thank you for the presentation. We were one of the most extending settlements in Europe.
Dear colleagues, I have prepared a presentation about... Okay.
With technicians.
Thank you. Dear colleagues, I have prepared a presentation about my dissertation theme, Villa Forensis, Staré město Niržan nad Sázavou. Firstly, some information about structure of my presentation. We will talk about general information, about history of site, reconstruction, and last point is the conclusion when we talk about the most important facts about my site. Firstly, some general information. Our site is located in the Bohemian Moravian Highland, which you could see here in this map as a red area. This area was border between Bohemian and the Moravian part during medieval time. And before 13th century, there were only forests and small isolated settlement unit. But during 13th century, colonists came there and founded new settlements. And the main target of colonization was mineral resources, because there were mining area of iron ore and silver ore. The central line of this area was river Sázava, and the most important ways were Haberská and Libická way, which you could see here in this second map. The light red line is Libická way, and the dark red line is Haberská way, and our site is situated here on Libická way. Some information about history of site. We have two type of sources. We have written sources and results of archaeological excavation. In this picture, you can see Chronica Domus Sarensis, which was written by monk Jindřich Rezbář. But problem is that he had run in the 60s of 13th century, and he came back to monastery at start of 14th century. So he wrote about events only from hearing. So we are not sure that many informations are correct. Second type of sources are results of archaeological excavation. During 5 archaeological excavation was uncovered whole village, which you can see in this picture. But problem is that every archaeological excavation was leading by different people with different methods and with different sampling. So
For example, we know that very important for this village was iron production, but for a leader of archaeological excavation was the most important, for example, pottery. So my project, which is based on iron production, worked with only few things from this site. First mention about our village is from 1234, but very important year is 1252, when Cistercian order came to this area. First monastery wasn't founded in Żdziar, but in Niszków or Wojnów Miestec. But this monastery was cancelled, maybe due to some internal problems, and the Cistercian order came back to matrimonial monastery and came back to Żdziar nad Sázavou in 1252 and was founded this stopgap monastery, and first monastery was founded here. But during building was cancelled and the new foundation of monastery was here, but we don't know why. And very interesting is that in 1262 was our village, which was situated here, was translocated from one bank of the river to another bank of the river. We have many theories why. Now we will talk about reconstruction of village. Very interesting is the question of houses, because according first archaeological excavation, archaeologists thought that people lived in overground houses, because during first archaeological excavation was uncovered this construction. But we know that inside of this construction were situated some producing objects. So we think that it was in enclosure of some producing area, and people lived in half dugout, which you can see here in this picture. And in this plan, there are these red objects. Very interesting for our village was handicraft production. We have traces of 5 types of handicraft production. It was pottery, stonemasonry, iron production, production of wooden tools, and limestone production. Pottery workshop was situated here because there were uncovered kiln with whole potteries, which you can see in this picture. Next handicraft production is stonemasonry, which you can see here in this blue area. And there were situated some residential object, some workshop, and in this picture you can see post hole in one line, which could be significated for presence of some roofs. Very interesting is result of petrographical analysis, because this architectural feature was uncovered in one of these objects, and according of results we know that this type of features were used during first phase of building of monastery in 1252 and to 1264. And very interesting is that according written sources, the stonemason who worked there was father of monk Jindřich Řezbář. Next very important production is iron production, which you can see here. There were many traces, and I have employee project of on study of iron production. The most important objects were furnaces, which you can see here. We have 2 types of furnaces. The first one is the furnaces for blacksmithing, and the second one is some furnaces for metallurgy. I have a project on mainly byproducts of iron production. And maybe the most important result is this type of slag, because this type is very rarely, and it's typical evidence of primary blacksmithing. Next production is production of wooden tools. We have a problem with identify of presence of workshop, but we have only final products from a well, and we have some construction items and some wooden bowls and buckets. The last one is a lime production, which wasn't situated exactly in our village, but was situated here. But we know that this production was realized during 13th century, so it was connected with our village. And last week we realized here geophysical research. So now we work with some results of this. Some points for a conclusion. This site is very unique because this only one whole uncovered site of this type in our lands. So it's a problem because we don't have another site for a comparison. So our knowledge about villa forensis in our lands is very fragmentary, only mainly from written sources. We have exactly dated village according to written sources, radiocarbon, and dating of ceramic. So we know that this village exists during 1234 and 1262. Very interesting is a question about the reason of translocation, because we have many theories. For example, one of this that there were some problem between with distance between monastery and the village, because we know that Cistercian monastery wanted to live in some isolation. But I think that translocation could be connected with mining, because we know that mining was one of the most important thing for this village, because according results of petrographic analysis, we know that source of iron ore was here in Starava Penice. Our origin site was situated here, and we know that for Bohemian Moravian highland is typical that there were only small and very quickly empty mining ore. So I think that this mining ore was empty, so people moved mining from here to here. And we know that there were mining area because it was mentioned in written sources. And after this, people moved from this origin place to another bank of the river because it was closed. But problem is that in 14th century, Cistercian order founded hammers, and iron production was moved from village to hammers. So this village had to find some new focus of economic, and I think that focus on another crafts and market, and after this village was transformed to the city. Very interesting question. Last point is a question about the term of villa forensis, because I am really skeptical about this using in this case. Because I have three positive and negative arguments. Positive arguments is that this term is mentioned in Chronica Domus Sarensis, but problem is that this term wasn't used in another written sources from the same time, because in another written sources we have only information about normal village yard. Next positive argument is that this village had a very important role in Cistercian dominion, and it was some center. And very interesting is the time of foundation of this village, because it is a typical time for foundation of Villa Forensis. But I think that it wasn't exactly Villa Forensis, because from written sources we know that in some cases minor settlement was called as Villa Forensis, and I think that it could be this case, because we know from written sources that miners had played a very important role in establishment of this village. Another argument is about the structure of the village, because for a realization of a market is a very important some rectangular square for a market. But this village is around one center line. And last point is very problematic, because we don't have some evidences of trade. But problem is that our site was translocated from a first place to another. So we have only partial material culture. So we are not sure that it was exactly Villa Forensis. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, so questions on all the papers. I just had a